It is that time again. From an undisclosed location somewhere in the world, who knows where, it is time for the Jesse T Show. Now here's Jesse.
Hey, fun time Friday in Southern California. Thank you very much, Mr. Lee, baby, Michaels. Man, I'm glad you're just the announcer. Hey, good to have you along here, Jesse T with you. It's Jesse Terrero, the Jesse T Show right here, Monday through Friday. We're back on the air and everywhere with you. Hey, we're from the community to the world, and we're here every day of the week, Monday through Friday from 5 to 6 Pacific Standard Time. Beautiful sunset in Southern California right now as we overlook the beaches and the ocean, the beautiful blue Pacific Ocean. As the sun sets, it's kind of got that red tint in the clouds right now. Man, it is gorgeous out there in the Pacific Ocean. What a beautiful day here it has been. A little bit windy, not too hot, but a nice day as we move into December 9th. I mean, man, is that amazing? That it's almost the end of the year. Christmas is just right around the corner. Wow, December 9th is here. Amazing how fast the year has gone by for me. Has the year gone by fast for you? It has just gone so quick. It's like I woke up and it was last December. Well, you know, of course, what we hope and wish for every time this year, we all do, is that this year is going to be a good time to set those goals and aspirations and those dreams ahead for the year 2017. And this is the year to start writing them out and visualizing them and trying to put the ingredients together to make it happen, because it is a fresh and new start on January 1st, 2017, no matter how bad it might be for you or where you're at or what you're doing or your complex life. It's always a fresh new start on January 1st, and we all look forward to that. I don't know how many of those goals and aspirations ever come true for folks, but you know, the one important thing is if you don't know where you're going, if you don't have a map to get there, you're certainly going to go nowhere. So at least if you put some stuff down on paper and think about what you'd like to do in your life, business-wise, personal-wise, physical fitness-wise, you have some good starting points to get out there and start your journey down that road and the path to success. And that's actually what it's all about, you know, is being successful, both personally healthy and financially. It's a hard road to follow these days here living in America or anywhere in the world, but with a lot of hard work and aspirations, it is really a terrific thing to strive for. I was speaking to a company back east in New York and then Winnipeg, Canada today called Nygaard Industries. Peter Nygaard, he is worth probably about $30 billion. And I met him last year on Normie Waters' Night of 100 Stars. He's been sponsoring the Night of 100 Stars for about 15 to 20 years. That's a big red carpet Oscar night celebration. The stars that aren't getting an award or not going to the celebration at the Oscars, a lot of them show up at the Night of 100 Stars. And you can go on our website here on YouTube at Jesse Terrero or www.aventertainmentlive.com and see some of those interviews from last year. Anyhow, Peter Nygaard, this guy is really a rags to riches story. I invest in you to check him out online. He is a guy who started in Europe just after World War II. With nothing, listen, literally living in rags, got interested in fashion and clothing because he didn't have any clothes after the war. Nobody had any clothes. And he immigrated to Canada and worked very hard and became one of Canada's most wealthy guys. Through lots of years of hard work and effort, he's probably worth about $30 billion, owns islands, literally islands. And he has the #1 clothing manufacturing line in Canada today, and a very, very popular clothing and manufacturing line in China and Europe. And here in America, not as many people know about his clothing line, but you may have caught some of his interesting clothing apparel. He's got a new line called Slim, and woo, baby, the girls look good in Peter Nygaard's slimwear. Yeah. Anyhow, we're trying to get him to sponsor a charitable sponsorship for LA Fashion Week coming up this March 15th here in Los Angeles at the Ace Museum there on Wilshire Boulevard in Hancock Park, which I'm going to be broadcasting live from. And they've also asked me to help them raise funds for the production, which is already paid for, but to expand in marketing and advertising. So I came on board with them recently, Arthur Chipman over there. And you might want to check him out. That's LA Fashion Week, LAFW, online. It's the #1 fashion show producer in the West Coast, rising to #4 in the world behind London and Paris, New York, and then Los Angeles. So LA is becoming the fast fashion capital of the world. And so I reached out to my friend Peter Nygaard to see if he could participate with us, because one of the things he's really into is stem cell research. He is the world's largest donator. His philanthropy is unbelievable, this guy. He is the world's largest donator of funds to stem cell research. In fact, T.O. from the NFL, Tyrell Owens, last year, I talked to him on the red carpet night of 100 Stars. He had a very bad Achilles heel, because remember, he pulled his Achilles, and he went through the stem cell research and application into his body, and his Achilles heel at that time last year was almost like brand new. So this stem cell research is really cool stuff. And those of you who need organs and organ repair and stuff like that, stem cell research is what it's all about. So Peter Nygaard is one of the world's largest donator of money towards that. And so he's got a great story. Had a chance to talk with him. Rags to riches story, giving back to the world. And that's what it's all about. And I bring that up because, the new year, 2017, maybe we should just give a little bit more to everybody instead of worrying about taking so much for ourselves. I know that's difficult sometimes. I mean, I'm getting stuck with another renter, another tenant that won't pay me my rent. I just evicted one, got him tossed in jail, and confiscated all his stuff, and all his possessions are now mine, and got his car repoed in a unit that I own. And I'm serving papers on another one, and I'm going to get them evicted, and another one too. And now I just found out this new tenant has decided in the same complex that she doesn't want to pay. So, I know sometimes it's really difficult to kind of step up and not go down the path of what our animal instincts want to do. But maybe 2017 is a good year of giving and a good year of fresh and new starts. Certainly, we have a new president coming on board. He's hiring all kinds of people into his cabinet, and they're saying all kinds of things and getting ready for his presidency coming up here after the inauguration in January, which we talked about a little bit yesterday, and looking forward to seeing what kind of dreams and goals and aspirations he has in his speech, because those speeches always seem to be some of the best speeches a president will give, setting his agenda and his passion and his dream forward. So that'll be interesting to see that. And this being a new year coming up here, not too many days away, it is a good year to freshen and kick off something in a new way. So we hope the best for you. Always remember, you can download our free app for the Power of Voices, which will then allow you to watch all the shows that we are broadcasting on our TV digital format, but certainly hear all the global radio formatted digital shows here at thepowervoices.com. And that app will also allow you to see us here and all the shows that we do visually on places like Livestream, YouTube Live, Facebook, and Facebook Live. Also, we're going to start branching out into Instagram in a big way. I just went to a kind of a mini seminar with someone who knows it really well, so that's exciting. So, we have a lot of avenues for you to watch the show, participate, and become part of our show. The Jesse T Show, as you enter the world, according to Torero. It's a fun time Friday. You're going to get straight on the point. Yes, I know I haven't shaved. And I think, what do you think? Do you think I should just let this old big mess that's on my face right now just kind of go bushy like Duck Dynasty guys, right? really bushy, like Paul Bunyan, like mountain men style, like lumberjack style, right? I think I'm going to. I'm going to see how long I can deal with this. Every day I wake up, take a shower, and say, I'm going to shave this thing off. And then I go, nah, I'm not going to shave it off. I'm going to see how far I can go with it. Well, the last time I did something like that, I let my hair grow. And 5 years later, my hair was down to here, down to my shoulders. And I used to keep it in a ponytail, excuse me. And because I have really long straight hair when it gets long. And finally I realized that I should get it cut, and I finally got it cut. So I don't know, maybe 5 years of growth here. What do you think? It'll be salt and pepper. Certainly not going to be dark brown like it was, or black like my hair used to be, but salt and pepper look, and got that mountain man look there. It doesn't itch at all. I got a really soft beard. Ooh, ooh, yeah. Yeah. Give me some Barry White. Ooh, yeah. Teddy Pendergrass. Love it. Or Frank Sinatra. Ooh, yeah. Right? Boom. Right. Probably with me, I'll have grizzly bears chasing me down the street, thinking I look pretty good with my luck. Hey, talk about luck. Wouldn't it be cool to take a vacation? I mean, vacations are what we love to do, right? And what is a typical vacation in America today? I'm just curious. I know the kind of vacations I like to take. We took what was called the Pioneer Vacation. We followed the Platte River, which comes up from New Orleans through Wyoming and into Utah area, and then kind of splits at the fork with a trail going to Oregon and a trail going to California. And the Platte River is what all of the pioneers that on the wagon trains that came across the West before the railroad was in the 1820s, 30s, and 40s, and they would walk from St. Louis on these wagon trains. All the men and boys would walk. The women and the young children could stay on the wagon because you didn't want to overbear the oxen. And you had to have oxen because that was the only one that could really do the distance, as not cows or anything like that, oxen. And they had all their family belongings there, and they came across the trail through Wyoming, and it was called the Pioneer Trail, and it followed the Platte River. So that was the kind of vacation we took, and we loved that vacation. The Pioneer Vacation, we call it. We went up into Wyoming. We saw Thermopylae. That's the largest dinosaur dig in North America. We also went to Yellowstone, of course. You can't go to Wyoming without going to Yellowstone. Jellystone National Park. Hey, boo-boo. Hey, boo-boo. Where is the ranger? Where's the ranger? But Yogi, the ranger told us not to even talk about him. Hey, boo-boo, they're beginning of baskets. But Yogi, we're going to get in trouble. One of my favorite cartoons when I was growing up, But I always thought, man, Yogi the bear and Boo Boo were like naked running around the forest. I used to watch them and I go, wait a minute. That's supposed to be a boy bear and maybe his partner sidekick road dog bear. And, they don't look like boys. In fact, they don't even look like girls, but they don't have any clothes on. At least the Fred Flintstones had clothes on, but not Boo Boo and Yogi. But anyhow, you can't go to Yellowstone can't go to Wyoming without going to see Yellowstone. And of course, the Bozeman Trail up there, where they also shot the Close Encounters of the Third Kind, that big giant rock that's called Devil's Peak, and the Great Tetons. The Rockies, as well as so many things in Yellowstone to see. And not only that, we went to see where Custer's Last Stand was, and we did the two tours there. We did the tour that the American government gives, and then the tour that the reservation gives, which is completely different. The Indigenous People tour is completely different. You get to really go down where the 6,000 Indigenous people were meeting when Custer came over the hill. You get to hear the whole story. A great museum. And then we went to the Cody Museum, Buffalo Bill Cody, and the Wild West show and all that stuff, and got to see where Mountain Men, Jeremiah Johnson, and all these things. So that was like the cool. Oh, we saw Mount Rushmore. We saw Dodge City. We saw that was in Kansas. We saw also we went to where Wilbur Hickok was killed, Aces and Eights, and just a great trip. And that was one of our trips in our family that we took called the Pioneer Vacation. So, these are cool trips coming up, right? And at that time, honestly, I'll tell you, it cost me about $10,000 for that trip. Okay, because we literally RV'd it and we spent a month, and I spent a lot of money. We saw everything. Okay, $8,000 to $10,000. Well, I said, it's a lot of money for a vacation. Well, you go to Hawaii today and you got a family, you're going to spend $5,000. I mean, you're not going to get away from it. That's what it's going to be. A week in Hawaii is going to cost you $5,000, unless you're eating, Jack in the Box burgers and tacos for 99 cents. But then why go to Hawaii, right? You might as well do the Hawaiian thing. So I came across this article, that I thought was pretty interesting because I kind of weighed their vacation against my vacation, right? And over the past 8 years, President Barack Obama and his family have spent more than $10 million a year for travel and vacations. Now, we're not talking about business, okay? That's $85 million that he spent during the 8 years of his presidency, and the number is still growing because, of course, he's still president. Let me sink that in there again. My Pioneer Vacation with my family cost me about $8,000 to $10,000, right? The President of the United States, for 8 years, his total vacation and travel cost, this is not business, $85 million he has spent. You think he spent all that out of his own pocket? $85 million. That's why the hypocrisy of democracy drives me insane. On one side of the mouth, the politicians speak, I'm there for the working man. I'm there for the Johnny, typical Johnny, typical Joe. I'm there for the less fortunate. I'm there for the newly entered Americans. I'm there for labor. I'm there for the working people. I don't care what party you're at. And yet on the other side of the mouth, they spend $85 million of taxpayer money. $85 million. The numbers were revealed just a couple of days ago, and it's really interesting. I mean, they did a little bit of a breakdown, this organization called Judicial Watch. It's a cool website, too. You might want to check it out. The tracking the president's travel spending for several years, based on bills it receives through the week and the taxes and all of that, the first family spent almost $5 million in taxpayer money for their first annual Christmas vacation to Hawaii. Can you imagine? $5 million of taxpayer money. I gotta rub my eyes on this. My goodness, what could you do with $5 million? Remember, my Pioneer Vacation, which was one of our most expensive vacations that I put up for our family, was $8,000 to $10,000. $5 million the President Obama spent. The Obamas, who will officially move out of the White House on January 20th, are expected to leave soon for their annual Christmas trip, which last year dated from December 18th to January 3rd. I wonder if they're going to spend another, give us last hurrah, kick in the butt, $5 million. Oh my goodness, the worst president this country's ever seen. Talks out of one side of the mouth, then talks out of the other side of the mouth, and nothing ever connects. Except spending our money. The exact number for the 2015 holiday trip 2015 holiday trip was over $4 million. $4 million, which includes flights, transportation, lodging, security officials, all of that stuff. $85 million over 8 years. $85 million. Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch, says the Secret Service and the Air Force are being abused unnecessarily in these travel arrangements. And these are presidential travel arrangements. He ties them all into fundraising. Luxury vacations on the taxpayer's dime. Unbelievable, isn't it? That blew my doors off. I mean, $85 million on vacations? Wow. I would love to do that. If I could get away with it. Hey, he got away with it. Why not? Man, lot of money being spent there. So, yeah, I thought that would be kind of cool to know. So it's kind of interesting when Donald Trump says, hey, I don't want that Air Force One to be, we don't need to spend $4 billion on that plane. That's sort of refreshing in some way. At least somebody's saying, I don't need it. Why not? So that's kind of cool, in that respect. But $85 million, that's just a little too much. I think I would be ashamed. It's called the hypocrisy of democracy. It's something I pegged years ago. Haven't talked about that statement too much, but the hypocrisy of democracy. Now, people always ask me, they always say, Jesse, you're nuts. You're crazy, man. You go Looney Tunes. You like a Looney Tune cartoon sometimes. I don't know where you get your brain from. Sometimes, where do you come from? I mean, how do you come up with these cockamamie ideas and these things that you talk about? And one of the things I always get kind of laughed at and pointed the finger at for decades is about the Rothschild Empire. When I start talking about the Rothschild Empire, and I say things like the Rothschilds, they bankroll both sides of every war. They bankroll almost every major corporation. They bankroll almost every government in the world. They bankroll almost every dictatorship and kingship in the world. They bankroll almost every bank they own, almost every centralized bank. They own something like 103 centralized banks, including our U.S. Federal Reserve, which is a centralized bank, through the IMF, which they use, and the World Bank, which the Rothschilds set up. Yeah, after World War II. So people say to me, "You're nuts. You're just insane." And you come up with all these things. They can't possibly be. Got the old magnifying glass out. Look at that. Old magnifying glass. That's right. I'm going to go to the doctor. I'm going to get some new glasses. Or I might go to contacts because I can't. I'm tired. Excuse me. I'm tired of wearing these glasses. Just tired. That beard doesn't look too bad, does it? So chime in with us. Let me know where you're calling from, checking in. Lee Migos is watching back at the undisclosed Power of Voices studio. And I'm broadcasting from an undisclosed location somewhere out in the deep side of a desert bunker. Got that Star Trek science working for me. And the Klingon. Yeah, you can't see me behind my shields. By the way, they're writing the new Star Trek movie. Just so you know. Lee Michael says, Trump wants to spend $365 million a year for security for his grown children. Okay, let's look at that. Let's look at that. Well, that's real simple, my friend. So what? That's talking about protecting your children. That's not talking about taking vacations on the backs of the taxpayer. Every president gets protection of his family, protection of his children, protection of his immediate bloodline family. That's the way it is. Everyone does. And that's part of being a president. It's part of having a president, because the world is an unsafe place. And every president has assassination attempts against him. So, okay, I got no problem with that. Spend the money. But don't go spend $85 million on paid vacations on the taxpayer's back, when I can only spend $8,000 to $10,000 on my vacation, our Pioneer vacation. And some folks can only spend $300 on a weekend at a Motel 6 for their vacation. That's just not right. It doesn't correlate with me. Business is business. Fun time is not. There's a separation here. It's just that simple. Saying hi to Tony Cox. What's happened to Tony Cox? Anyhow, back to this Rothschilds thing. So finally, I got vindicated. Yeah, man, I got vindicated. I got the proof in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding right here about the Rothschilds. I'm not so crazy. What else? Lee just chimed in. So what are the costs for other presidents' vacations? We've always paid for them. Not a big deal, dog. Hey, a lot less than Obama. A lot less than Obama. Go check it out. You'll see. A lot less. Dramatically less. So finally, the country of Bolivia, all right, where they're having all that crazy stuff going down there. The Olympics, Rio de Janeiro, all that stuff that we saw. That was in Brazil and Bolivia and all that. Excuse the cough, I apologize. Finally, I get vindicated. Bolivia becomes the first South American country to ban Rothschild banks, November 28th, 2016. Now that is one of those stories you'll never see on mainstream media. You'll never see it in mainstream newspapers, magazines, any internet websites. You'll never see it. But this came from Baxter Dimitri in News, World News. And he posted this article. And it really signifies something that I've always said, is that nothing we do, we think we're doing, we're not doing that's not set up for us to do because they know how to lead the rat down the maze. They do that very well. They spend trillions of dollars figuring out how to maneuver us down the road. So Bolivia has become the first country to kick the Rothschild Bank out of their country, with President Evo Morales announcing that Bolivia will no longer respond to pressure or financial blackmail from the U.S. government or Rothschild-controlled international banking institutions. The International Monetary Fund, remember I talked about the IMF? And the U.S. dominated the World Bank, remember? I just talked about that. Have been major players in the global economic landscape ever since the creation in 1944. It actually dates back to the Federal Reserve, which was put together under Woodrow Wilson, and dates back to really the end of the Civil War when the industrialists came together and basically bought our nation's government. These international banking organizations, which are privately controlled by the notorious Rothschild banking family, worth about $500 trillion or even more, first pressure nations to deregulate their financial sector, allowing private banks to loot their economies. Now, once the governments are forced to bail out their deregulated financial sector, the IMF or World Bank, there we go, sets up a loan package written in secret by central bankers and finance ministers that undermine their national sovereignty and force them to adopt policies of austerity that harm workers' families and the environment. That's exactly what they did in this country. When Woodrow Wilson and the Senate signed and voted away the rights of our monetary and currency control from the United States Treasury over to the federal bank, that's exactly basically what they just did. That was in 1917. That's what they did, what I just read. So, hey, I got vindicated. Yeah, right on, man. I've been talking this stuff for 35 years plus. And everybody just looks at me and says, you're nuts. No, I'm not nuts. That's the way it works. And now we're starting to get some actual reporters who are reporting this in their mainstream media. But of course, our mainstream media will never, ever pick it up. You kidding me? Do you think that that CNN or even Fox would put something on like that? Come on now. Fox is owned by the Saudi Arabian kings over there, the Saudi family. Come on now. They have the largest stockholder percentage. Nothing is as it seems, guys. Nothing is as it seems. So we have a president, the hypocrisy of democracy, spending $85 million of taxpayer dollars. We have a centralized bank that just chokes us and chokes us and chokes us, the Federal Reserve. And we try to figure out how to pay for our Christmas presents and how to keep our jobs, right? Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But, that's the way it is. And so I love to talk about this stuff, especially when I get vindicated on these kind of stories over the years. Because, look at, all you got to do is put one and one together, and it doesn't make four. One and one together makes two. Google, our favorite search engine. Google, our favorite search engine, is quietly recording everything you say. So if you're on Google search right now, here's how to hear it. I'm going to show you how to hear what they're hearing and listening to you and how to stop it. I know that sounds like a roundabout here, but Google is quietly recording everything you say, and here's how you check it out, and here's how you get rid of it. I didn't know this just a couple of days ago. I knew that in some of the cameras on the TV sets and the computers, when you are actually not in front of the camera, they can actually activate your camera from an outside source and watch you in your house. I knew that they have these machines that DARPA has developed that they can drive down your street or fly above or satellite. And because we in our bodies are made of electricity, we have electromagnetism, and all of the devices that are around us that emanate some sort of electricity and need power, it creates a magnetic field in your house. And as you walk through your house, your magnetic field disrupts that magnetic field and basically paints you in a silhouette. They can see the fine points of your face. They can see when you're going to the bathroom, when you're cooking. They can do all of that if they want to. That I knew, but I didn't know this. Thanks to a function of the search engine software Google, Google could have years worth of your conversations recorded. Think about that one. My goodness, when I read this, I said, years of my conversations recorded? Well, if there was ever a zombie apocalypse, or the United States government fell into tyranny and decided to go after all the bad guys in the country, I always know that I would be one of the ones they would want to pick up, because I'm outspoken on everything that I do, and I have a vehicle with my media and the global digital TV and radio broadcast facilities that we have here at thepowervoices.com and AVTV Live at www.aventertainmentlive.com. Also, you can check us out on facebook.com/Jesse Terrero every day. I'm always posting up. I'm going to be posting up a lot on Instagram now, as I've learned a lot of new tricks. I'm going to be instituting that over the next month. And you can check out Power Voices at facebook.com/The Power of Voices, as well as our YouTube live site. Hey, Tony Cox, how you doing, man? Haven't seen you in a while. Good to have you chime in with us. The former head of the FBI puts electrical tape over the camera lens on his mobile phone and computer screen. Now, what is that saying? What is that saying, guys? The former head of the FBI is putting electrical tape over his camera on his TV screens and on his mobile phone when he's not using it, or if he is using it. Is that amazing? What does that tell you? It tells you that his behavior is representative of something that he knows. See, actions always speak louder than words. Hypocrisy or democracy, man. We fall for it every time. His actions are really what speaks to the point. Now back to the Google stuff. I'm thinking about my conversations over the last years. Oh, yikes. You makes you cringe. Ugh. Can you just imagine that stuff being logged up somewhere? It's unbelievable. So let me go back to it. Your cringe-worthy history can be heard and viewed along with a list of all your searches. Ha! Ah! All my searches! Oh, boy. Now I'm in trouble. At your personal Google history page. This feature was built into Google's search function as a means of delivering accurate search results. However, the sheer accuracy and amount of the data Google stores is chilling. The good news is that you can turn it off and delete it. And at the end of this article that I'm going to tell you here, we're going to show us how. But the recordings can function as a kind of a diary, reminding you of the various places and situations that you and your phone have been in. but it's also a reminder of just how much information is collected about you, and how intimate that information can be. I just went through 2 surgeries 2 weeks ago, almost lost my life, and they're shoving stuff down my throat. Man, how much more intimate can that be? They're shoving this stuff down my throat, man, these tubes, to fix my esophagus, right? And, can't get more intimate than that. I guess if they shoved it up my butt, fix my colon, that might be more intimate. But, I mean, this is intimate stuff. It's about you, your wife, your spouse, your significant other, your kids, your parents, everything. You're going to see more if you're an Android phone, because it's even more active on Android, which can be activated at any time just by saying, okay, Google. But you may well also have recordings on their whatever devices you've interacted using a Google search engine. So, this is some startling stuff. Google possesses some now, 40,000 search queries every second on the average. 40,000 search queries it processes every second, which translates to over 3.5 billion searches per day and 1.2 trillion searches per year worldwide, almost 2 trillion searches. The data from these searches is then stored in each individual who conducts them. Using the data or steering results in a particular direction, the internet behemoth could effectively influence the entire world, aside from influence. I mean, William Randolph Hearst in Yellow Journalism at the turn of the 20th century, when he owned like 25 of the top papers in the United States of America, and that was the primary way to get information disseminated across America, because radio wasn't even developed yet. You thought he had control? The internet behemoth could effectively influence everybody. So, this is some pretty scary stuff. It really is. Now, this is how you turn this stuff off. Start this eye-opening journey by heading to Google's history page and looking at the long list of recordings. Google's history page and looking at the long list of recordings. The company has a specific audio page, too, as well as their record of where you've been on the internet. I mean, for cheating husbands, if you're a wife and you know how to run this stuff, you got your husband by the huevos, man. I'm telling you. And for cheating wives, your husband's got you by the huevos, and whoever cheats on anybody else, significant others or whatever, they got you by the huevos if they know how to understand the technology. You can't go nowhere. Forget it. You got to shut your phone off and put a piece of tape over the camera. Yes. Wait a minute. Did I just create a whole system of how to cheat? Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should put together a software package and how to cheat on your lover, how to cheat on your wife or husband in 2017. In other words, how to get rid of the technology. Certainly can't let anybody take a picture of you if you're out doing the do-dang-do. You know what I mean? Oh, wow. We'll see what that does to our society over the years. Maybe when people will stay married longer. No, what will happen is they're just going to get divorced. In fact, they're just going to have kids without being married. I mean, what the heck? Who cares? Right? Yeah, just look at those kinds of kids that are raised. Anyway, if you've never disabled the feature, you will see a list of audio recordings, even some done outside of the Google app, as well as a transcript of the audio Google has covered or converted to text. So they not only give it to you in the audio recording, they convert it to text. So remember, head to Google's history page and look at the long list of recordings, as well as a specific audio page, because there they've got a record of where you've been on the internet. Now, what is recommended by these gurus, and I'm certainly not one, but I had to report on this because this is like, you talk about invasion of privacy. I mean, I had a hard time when Bank of America made me put my thumbprint on a check back about 25 years ago and said they're doing it for my own protection and verification. I looked the lady straight in the eye and I said, you got to be kidding me. You're doing it to get more data on me. I didn't want to put my thumbprint. They wouldn't cash the check, so I went somewhere else and got my check cashed without a thumbprint. But you can't do anything without a thumbprint today. Or fingerprint, right? I mean, I fought that and I fought that. I found that to be so invasive into my private life. I really did. It bothered me tremendously, and I fought it. I even tried to sue, a class action suit, but it didn't go nowhere. Let's see what Lee Michaels has to say. Lee says, well, yeah, I'm past that, man. If Trump would live at the White House, it will not cost us $365 per year. The cost is because he wants to spend most of his time in New York City. He's going to live at the White House, man. The job is going to impose upon him to live at the White House. That's just the way it is. That's going to happen. So this is just pre-presidential hodgepodgey, blah, blah, blah. Tony talks, I have lots to say on the subject of data collection in modern day spying. Do you take live phone calls? Yeah, I do, Tony. I generally do take some live phone calls. Lee, let me know if you can take a call from Tony Cox. Text me up something here or buzz me in here. Can we take a call from Tony right now so we can talk more about this spying stuff? Because I think it's really interesting.
Yes, we can take phone calls.
Okay, Tony, give us a call at, I give out the regular number, Lee. Is that what I do?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, Tony, call 424-227-9461. 424-227-9461. And Lee will pump it into us and we'll have a dialogue about this because this stuff is really interesting. It perturbs me terribly how the world has jumped into my personal life, my private life, but it doesn't seem to bother anybody else. Maybe I'm just a weirdo. I don't know. I hate all the cameras around too, and all the audio devices that are connected to all these cameras. It bothers me, and any way I can turn this stuff off, I try to. So anyhow, this guru genius says you delete particular files. You can click the checkbox on the left and then move back to the top of the page and select delete to get rid of everything. You can then press the more button, select delete options, and then advanced and click through. That's the easiest way to stop Google recording everything, is to turn off the virtual assistant and never to use voice search. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Give us a call, Tony. Love to hear from you. 424-227-9461. Now that you know this exists, you can voluntarily get rid of it. You don't want to hand your data over. You just don't want to do that. It's just
Tony's
a small
there.
little piece. What's that?
Yes.
We got something coming in?
Tony's there.
Good evening.
Hey, Tony, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm just doing great up here, Jesse. It's a little cold in Northern California tonight, but it's the season.
Is it raining or snowing?
Well, it's raining and snowing. We live in Sacramento, and about an hour, maybe 40 minutes from here, it's snowing quite well, and it's raining through the weekend here, and we certainly need it.
Yeah, that's
but
for
I was
sure.
watching. I was watching you tonight. I was watching you tonight, Jesse, and you are touching on something that has woven itself into every fabric of American fiber, and that is research collection. I use the term spying in quotes because the innocence of the collection of data. In other words, you go to your favorite grocery store and you have a discount card or a membership card, and you get 25 cents off your toilet paper if you use that card. In reality, the researchers are saying that this person consumes this much twin ply in a 90-day period. They know exactly how much toilet paper you use.
Yeah, and that's
what does that mean?
To me for someone to know how many times I got to go to the bathroom and how much paper I need.
And that's only the start. They, and when I say they, it's innocent. Yeah. It's under the cloak of marketing and research. However, like I said earlier on my little postie, I said, the former FBI director suggests to everyone that they should put a piece of tape over the lenses of their phones and computers, especially when they're not using them. And the
proof is in the pudding right there. I responded to you and I said, hey, you got to look at a guy who knows something. He's doing something actively and physically because he knows something that everybody else doesn't know and should know. That's the thing.
Absolutely. So I came up with a new invention. It's a lens cover for your cell phone. No, I'm kidding. But I mean, I don't know why the manufacturers don't put. Is that
like a high-tech condom?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's safety first, protection, cyber protection, available in reservoir tip.
This is going to turn into a business call. We're going into entrepreneurship, okay? We're going to market the first high-tech condom.
Don't forget the reservoir tip.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that collects all the bullshit that the electronics put in there.
It's funny. It's funny to be able to say a word like bullshit. I've been in radio for, professional radio all these years, and there's always a bleep that's associated with that. And that's why I really like you on Facebook and your live feeds. I can't hear you up here on the radio, but the live feeds, the time you were walking through, I'm not quite sure what area of LA you were walking through at midnight by yourself, that I sat there on the edge of my seat going, when's he going to get mugged? I don't want you to get mugged, but this guy's got some nuts, man. Walking through there like that at that time of night and openly, I mean, it's hard not to see that you're reporting, and that's gutsy, man. And that's what I like. I like seeing that kind of stuff. That's better than mainstream media to me.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, Tony. Everybody, you got to follow this guy, Tony Cox. He has a lot of great stuff to say on his Facebook page and stuff. I like a lot of his thought patterns and how he puts things together too as well. And so, mutually too, my friend, I really appreciate those kind words. Thank you, man.
Well, Jesse, thank you. And, we're just us. I mean, thank God that we're able to survive all of the crap and without becoming calloused. So we're able to communicate. Communication is the most incredible thing in the world. You would think on paper that everybody's got a freaking device that even Star Trek didn't imagine back in the 60s. Our mobile units are more intelligent, yet the problem is there's a direct relation between how smart the device becomes and we become equally stupid. We lose common sense.
I was sitting in the theaters back in the early 90s when The Matrix first came out. Remember that? And and it was mind-boggling. I just come from my Wing Chun class, my Kung Fu class for many, many years with Sifu Gary Lam. And one of my Kung Fu brothers said, you got to go see this movie. Because he knew, I talked about the Rothschilds, I talked about the Committee of 300, I talked about how the CIA really created the cocaine business in Harlem and East LA and Watts. And I talk about all these things. So and he says, you got to see this movie, Matrix. So I went there and I was sitting in Alhambra at this little kind of dirtbag theater watching this movie Matrix, and it blew my doors off because I said to myself, oh my God, that's what we're going into. We're already here. Unbelievable.
Yes,
and how they've attacked our privacy, Tony, it disturbs me to the point that I used to pay more to cash my checks at Nick's cash centers than go to the bank because I had to give my fingerprint. Oh, that pissed me off.
Well, they don't even have checks now. The banks offer incentives if you have direct deposit. And, the thing about the future is it is now. And if you look at Hollywood, you're right there in the Mecca. You're in the center of the future. Everything that happens in Hollywood eventually. Look at Star Trek. I mean, when that was done in the 60s, that was actually going on. That was not futuristic. But people aren't ready to absorb that kind of technology on a daily life until they're introduced through entertainment and music and arts and crafts. We just can't comprehend that kind of level of technology. So we didn't just get to the moon overnight. That's real stuff that happened in the 60s, and we're just now getting it in the palm of our hands with the device I'm talking to you on, with the network that you are using to broadcast across the technology. But the thing is who cares? It's common sense. The more noisy it becomes, the less we hear.
And doesn't that bother you, Tony? I mean, I'm 56 years old.
It certainly opens my eyes. Yes, it bothers me. Yes, it opens my eyes, though. And it's like coming out of the mountains when your ears pop. You don't even know they're plugged till they pop. And once you see that, when you see the effects of media, when you see the effects of modern technology, when you see how noisy it is, then you can filter it out. For most people, trying to understand that is like me trying to tell Stevie Wonder what red looks like.
And by the way, when I worked for Stevie Wonder at KGLH, I did try to tell him what a Mexican looked like because he thought I was African American. And that's
Well,
and
there
that's
you
no
go.
freaking lie, man. We're in a jock meeting. Lee will chime in on this because Lee's a 50-year veteran out of the radio business, and I'm a 40-year veteran. And you can relate to us on this, Tony. I get hired by
Sure.
Stevie Wonder to go work at KGLH, and the first jock meeting I'm
Oh,
there,
yes.
he's going,
He
man,
told us,
you guys, I do the Stevie Wonder head shake, right? You guys got to sound like that Jesse T. That Jesse T. Oh, he's so good. That Jesse Terrell. Jesse Terrell, man, you're so good, man. That's a brother. That's a black brother that can make it happen, man. You got to sound like him. He's exciting to watch. And everybody goes dead quiet. Frankie Ross, all the guys that were there. Lee knows all these guys. They go dead quiet. Lon McHugh, everybody goes dead quiet. And they all look at me, and I go, and I look at them, and they look at me, and I go, Mr. Wonder, thank you for the compliment. But, brother, I'm a Mexican.
And what did he say? Y'all look the same to me?
It was freaky.
Stevie Wonder is proof that we are colorblind. That people really are colorblind. We should be colorblind with people, and we should appreciate the differences
Stevie looked at me.
that are being
He
told
said,
we're all the same.
"You're the blackest Mexican I know."
Oh.
And Lee can testify to that because he worked. He helped, at several times, put that station and keep it going together at a general manager type level. And Lee knows all about Stevie.
Yeah, well, didn't he own the station for a while, Jesse? And he'd show up.
He still does.
And he just,
yeah,
he still owns it.
Yeah. So you're right. I mean, the public doesn't seem like they care, and no matter how loud you scream. Why do you think that is, Tony?
Well, I have a fundamental theory, and the thing is the Romans had it down. They gave away free entertainment for a few hundred thousand, maybe 1,000, 1,500 years. Anybody could come to the Colosseum most nights of the week and see the most incredible things in the world. At first, it just started out simple entertainment, and people got bored of that and wouldn't show up for free. So they say, how do we make this more attractive? What will get people here? Well, let's try animals eating each other. So we'll go to Africa and we'll bring in things they've never seen before, and they'll come and watch that. And the reason they did it is because it reinforced the hierarchy of government. They all sat there and at each show. They were the VIPs back then. And they ruled, and that type of entertainment kept people from rebelling against the very people that gave them.
You're exactly right.
So after it got tiring, well, what do we do next? God, nobody's come to see them kill animals anymore. Well, let's try Christians. Let's see if people will come and see if Christians being killed. And I don't mean to underrate the enormous impact of that. But that's what happens when people who get free entertainment become numb. If you get it for free without accountability, the Coliseum is now, metaphorically, our television sets. That's the free entertainment.
You're right. You're right.
People, and if you get tired of real competition, then we'll do something else. If you watch Two Broke Girls, CBS comedy, it's 30 minutes of punchlines for words like penis, ass, and boobs. That's all it is.
Right.
And that that dumbifies America. I call it American freedom, but I spell it D-U-M-B.
And very sharp. I'm going to steal that from you, okay?
Absolutely. I want to spread like a virus because I tell you, it is a virus. It's stupidity. And
that's what my last girlfriend told me. Hey, I want you to spread like a virus somewhere else.
Well, again, going back to our condom idea, if you had that on, it wouldn't happen.
I'm telling you, man, we got a partnership going on here. We got something.
Well, I'm retired now, Jesse. I'm retired now, man. I just kicked back now. I worked 47 years in radio, started as a DJ at 14 years old and went on to programming and production. And I bought a bunch of domain names back in '92 before point.
Oh, God bless you, man.
So I own oceancruise.com, and I own promnight.com, and I own puberty.com, and I own arrested.com, ARRESTED. And that is the #1 online crime center. And I don't do anything with the sites. I don't do shit with it. I just bought the domain names and I own the virtual property. So I lease it out to companies like American Data.
That's really, you were forward thinking.
Well, really again, I'm saying, it wasn't forward thinking. And that's the fun. I think that's kind of how we got into this futuristic thought. The future is now. When people tell me now, wow, how did you see that? That's so futuristic. I didn't. All I said was, wow, there's only one of those and I can buy it for $35. I didn't know that the internet at the time would explode to what it is. I didn't even know what it was.
Nobody did. Well, and the
so
government did.
Domain names.
Yeah.
The government,
the government did because they created the internet pipe channels after World War II, so Eisenhower could have a straight line of communication in 6 key centers across America in case we got hit with a nuke.
Right. Well,
that's how
the
internet was
future. If you want to know what the future is going to be in business, I'll tell you a couple of areas. If I were to start an upstart, if it were fashion, I would design environmentally protective fashion suits that were Kevlar, that had a built-in, that was still fashionable and comfortable, but actually, I would invent that. I would retrofit. In California, when they figured out that we could build better buildings and reinforce our freeways to prevent deaths from earthquakes, we did it. We spent hundreds of billions of dollars to retrofit.
I meet with Mayor Garcetti last year, and he was finishing up his LA City preparedness plan. And it's about a 200-page document. And it took him 2 years to assess every single building that the city of Los Angeles owns and how to retrofit them for earthquakes.
And that's to protect citizens from death due to earthquakes that we don't even know when they're going to happen. Yeah. Look at all the money we spent to retrofit those. Why don't we do the same thing in our buildings? Restaurants put in Kevlar and plexiglass to prevent drive-by shootings. How about theaters have Kevlar seats? So at least to withstand a couple of rounds in your back.
Well,
Why doesn't America put up instead of a wall? I love the wall idea, but
I've been a proponent for just teaching everybody at 6 years old how to shoot, maintain, fix, and clean your gun and be licensed.
Absolutely.
And so as you grow up through your life, everybody's packing a sidearm, and you're going to think twice about shooting.
Yes, education is certainly the key, but there's 2 forms of education. Since we've already touched on the fact that common sense is a lost art, it's not being taught in the homes anymore. Everyone's busy and it falls through the cracks. It's called horse sense of the old day. Now it's just called common sense. It's becoming a commodity. With self-tying Nike shoes, we're going to not only forget how to write our name, we're not even going to be able to tie our fucking shoes. Can I say?
I hear you, brother. I totally hear you, man. Hey, look, Tony, I got to run. I'm at the top of the hour. The music is chiming in underneath me. Hey, let's hook up on Monday, man. I want you to call as much as you want. I like your thoughts, and I'd like to know what's going up there in Northern California.
Well, I'm a big fan, so I'll be watching. Thanks, man.
Hey, thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Hey, you're listening to the Jesse T Show right here, Monday through Friday from 5 to 6. Hey, what can I tell you? You entered the world according to Torero, and you're straight on the point. Saying hi to everybody. Jesse Andrew, getting ready for the Spartan Challenge. Raw! Yeah, December 10th. He's going to be out there in the elite crowd. Yeah, raw! I like it. Also saying hi to John Christopher Hardcore. Thanks a lot. Tony Cox for checking in. And Gil Fajardo. He was on our show a couple of weeks back. Hey, Gil, we got to hook up, man. Got some stuff I want to talk to you about. Great show. Got a lot of great response. Thanks, of course, Lee, for having things going for us. Can't do it without my buddy, Lee, even though we are dynamically on each other's opposites when it comes to politics. But that's okay. I respect the old guy. What can I tell you? I take care of him anyway. Love you, Lee. Hey, this is the Jesse T Show, Monday through Friday, right here on thepowervoices.com. The Brown Beauty's off duty. See ya!